Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why?
Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, chair of Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did.
Someone once said, where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart. What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentionally.
Good evening and welcome to the December 2nd, happy December already, December 2nd episode of the Right Side Podcast. I'm Deb Drick. I'm the local chair of the LCRP, the Livingston County Republican Party, and my guest tonight, my esteemed guest, is the third of our Secretary of State candidate series, and that is Anthony Ferlini. Welcome, Anthony. Thank you for coming and joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, Dad. I appreciate it.
Welcome to Red, Livingston County.
Red,
Livingston County.
Beautiful color.
It is a great color, isn't it?
Yes.
And then we have our first hello is greetings from Highland Park, Wayne County. That's Mark Ashley Price. I tease him all the time and tell him he's exactly 50% of the Wayne County Republican Party. So we're glad he's here. Thanks, Mark, for joining in. We are here. We're gonna talk with Anthony about his race. You start with just kind of a bio. Tell me about your personal and your personal experience, where you're from, that sort of thing, where you grew up.
Well, Deb, I grew up in Macomb County. I'm a lifelong resident. Been in private practice, my own business for the last 40 years, but the last 20 I decided to give back, really to be a part of the community, first as a township supervisor, then as a state representative, and now as the county clerk for the last 5 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, I didn't do it the easy way. I kind of did it the hard way, and I got in because of the issues I saw in my own community of Harrison Township. Things kind of got a little crazy, and I begged my wife. I says, hey, I'd like to get involved in politics and help the community. And it was a little cajoling. I ran for township supervisor against an incumbent Democrat and won.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so that was the start of it. And I promised her it'd only be 4 years. That was 20 years ago. So anyhow, shortly after that, the same thing happened with kids in college, and the jobs weren't here in the state. If you remember the Granholm years, they weren't so good.
The lost decade, as Rick Snyder used to say.
Yes, we're going through it again. But it was really bad back then, and so I had 3 kids in college. One was a Kettering student who couldn't find internships even here in the state.
Oh, wow.
Had a little trouble doing that, even though he was one of the top in his class. but as a result, he ended up, he's living in Dallas now, which is unfortunate. But I ran because I wanted to fix our state. My dad is an immigrant from Italy. And he came to Michigan because this is the land of opportunity. This was the place to be. And he came here because of the jobs and what have you back in the 50s. That wasn't the case. And so I got involved to help change the state, came in during the early years of Governor Snyder, and had a really nice run for 6 years. And I figured I was done with politics, to be quite honest. But then a few years later, got the tap on the shoulder to run for county clerk. I go, there's somebody in there already. He's an incumbent Democrat. And so for the third time, I ran for a different office and beat my third incumbent Democrat. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right. So what have you done for the county clerk's office since you've been there? Is it taken over for a Democrat, reforms and cleanups and?
Yeah, all you have to do is go on YouTube and you'll see what I'm talking about. The amount of problems that were there before I got in there were numerous, and just look them up. But it was what we did once we got in that made a difference. And the first election I won by 1,500 votes against an incumbent. 4 years later, last year, ran again and won by 80,000 votes. And the reason I really believe, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons, I think we did all the right things. And we appealed to a broad spectrum of people, how we did them. Election integrity was a big one. How we run our office, how we did things in the office were different than what you might see in any government office. I won during COVID. And everyone was still working from home. And what I found was this isn't how we want our government offices to run. So as a result, within 3 weeks, we had everybody back to the office.
Oh, nice.
We got everybody in, and we ended up getting people that thought they would not like to work in the office liking the office again.
Oh, good.
So that was good. The other thing that we did was voicemail. Do you like voicemail, Deb?
No.
No, none of us do, and it doesn't work because I'll tell you why. They call our office, goes to voicemail. We call them back.
And it goes to voicemail.
Because you don't know who's calling you back, right?
Sure.
So this back and forth is kind of crazy. So we ended it, and we track all the phone calls that come in. We track who's answering, who's not answering. And what we have found with our tracking, 98% of all calls during the day get answered by a live person, and they're cross-trained, and they can typically take care of your answers.
Oh, terrific.
So that's huge on the customer service side. The other thing is we used to have appointment only. We changed that.
Oh, good.
You can have an appointment, nothing wrong with that. But if you don't want one, you come in. We track this. We have a check-in kiosk that we started when I got in there. If they check in, our average time before they're served is under 4 minutes. And once they're served, they're out in 10 minutes.
Oh, nice.
So that's a great turnkey system that we have. And we know this because we track it. We track every bit of it.
Oh, good.
So I think, when you hold people
accountable.
So
these are the kind of things you're going to do as Secretary of State.
It's a very close relationship,
Yes.
right? It's customer service,
Sure.
and that's what you need to do. And I believe in that. I believe that we are there to serve the public, not them serving us. So it's been a really good transition. Let me tell you, the employees, they love it because they come to work knowing people are going to thank them. People are going to be happy with the service. People know it's going to be turnkey. They're going to not believe that they came in. We do between 30 to 50 CPLs a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. And we turn them, we get them through every day, no problem, under 4 minutes before they're served and under 10 by the time.
That would certainly be a good improvement in the Secretary of State, because I'll tell you, I know some people that have worked for the Secretary of State, and I like them very much, but they never waited on me, because the ones they are some of the grouchiest employees, state employees I know. And maybe it is real tough to work for, or maybe it is because they get yelled at, or maybe because they don't have those standards or to apply to. So
yeah,
it'd be nice if you could do that for them.
Well, I think it's good. Employees are very important. If you don't have good employees, and if your employees are not happy coming to work, that has a big impact. And I think it, the day-to-day stuff. So we try to make work light. And if you ever go to our YouTube page for the Macomb County Clerk Register of Deeds, you'll see what I'm talking about. We have a lot of great videos that we do.
Awesome.
And we make a little bit light of what we do, have a little fun, but we get it done.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Well, that's important. Well, Mark says you're a great candidate for Secretary of State, and he claims one former candidate dropped out of the race and endorsed you, correct?
Yes. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, just 2 weeks ago, what a great guy, Tim Smith. I met him right when he first announced, and we had a great conversation on the west side before I was even in the race. And we had a great conversation. I checked up on him from time to time just to see how he was doing, how his family was doing, because sometimes I wouldn't see him on the road. And he had a tough time getting away from his work where he was going. And 2 weeks ago, he came all the way. He drove from the west side of the state all the way to Grosse Pointe, where all of us were speaking. And he leaned into me just before he went up, and he said, "This is my last speech." I go, "What are you talking about? We got a long way to go." He goes, "No." He goes, "There's only one person in this room that should be Secretary of State." He goes, "It's not me, and it's not the others. It's you."
Oh, wow.
And I had goosebumps. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
And then he went up and
I got
spoke.
goosebumps.
Well, he went up and spoke, and he basically said the same thing. And
Nice.
I was blown away. That was very kind of him to do that. But he drove all the way across the state, 3 hours to do that. I told him,
Wow.
you got to wait until we were at Kent County or something. Save yourself a trip. But it was very kind of him.
Okay, well, good. That's interesting. Many of the statewide Republican candidates are great candidates, and 2026 will be a good year for Republicans, I think. So we're certainly going to work toward that, Mark. So,
And let me say this on that topic. It's not going to be an easy year, and I think Republicans need to stay motivated. Republicans need to get engaged because the off year off the presidential election is oftentimes tough for the party that's in office. And so let's not forget that, because we need to stay together as a party and do the right things and do the things that the American people want us to do. And I think we'll have a good year, but we have to do that first.
Yes, I don't think he said the word easy in there at all.
Oh, okay.
No, it was a good year. Yes, I agree. I think that it is a good year for us. And it's just in my observation. I mean, you've been in politics a long time. I've been in politics a long time. I don't think I've ever seen the Democrats so unorganized and have such a scattered message before. And that's certainly going to work. I know that's certainly working in our favor. If they can just continue to stick to their guns and their rhetoric about gender issues and things, then it will be a 2026 Republican year. That's for sure.
Deb, I think what the people are asking us to do is do our job.
Yep.
All these other sideshows are not what the American people are looking for. They're looking as the county clerk or a secretary of state, get in and do your job. All these other things are sideshows that have nothing to do with what we were put in office to do.
No, they're just trying to drag in other voters for different reasons. It's the pork of the election. So I'm looking at all my questions that I always ask, and you've already answered them. So you have run for office. You beat Democrats 3 times, according to what you just said. That's definitely a bonus.
And let me throw something else out there while we're on the topic of the customer service, and we can go to elections.
Sure.
I got 100 employees, only 4 are in elections. So when you look at my entire operation, there's all these other things that are so important, bringing the services to the public. But I say all these things, and anyone can say it, but I got something to back it up. We won 2 national awards. Now there's 5,000.
Really?
Yes, 5,000 municipality units that were eligible for an award. They only gave out 28. We went to San Antonio to get it, and I couldn't believe there's 7,000 people in this room. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a big deal. We're the only one in the state of Michigan that won an award. We're the only one in the country to win 2.
Wow, what'd you win?
So it was for operational efficiency, some of the things we talked about, and innovation. Some of these innovative things that we did are really, the result of good work with the employees we have and the ideas they came up with and things we implemented to make customer service better and to bring the cost of doing business down. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you.
Thanks.
That's good stuff.
Thanks.
What made you decide to? So what now? So you went from this and this and this, and now you're county clerk, and you've been county clerk for 5 years. Do you have like adult ADHD that you got to change all the time? I mean, what is it? You're in a nice situation now. You're award winning. You got all this stuff.
Is my wife in the room trying to? Is she,
yeah, she's sending me texts.
She's sending me text.
So what made you decide to, okay, I'm winning awards. We're winning awards for efficiency. We're doing our job. Boom! I'm gonna just jump into a statewide Secretary of State race.
Well,
do tell.
so everything I've done, all along, it wasn't about getting a position, sitting there and being an established person that wins elections and just keeps doing the same thing. I did my job as a township supervisor. We went on, we did our job. I got term limited when I was a state representative. And, I felt like we did our work.
Sure.
And we voted, I voted as the township supervisor to get rid of pensions and that type of thing. And then as a township, as a state representative, we had lifetime health care. We voted to get rid of our lifetime health care. So there wasn't a reason to for myself. Now, as the county clerk, honestly, I make more doing what I'm doing now as a county clerk than I would as a state as a Secretary of State. It's not about that. It's about getting in, getting the job, and getting it done right, fixing things. And so there was along the way reasons to fix things.
All right.
Secretary of State, that's a hornet's nest.
Yes, it is.
That's going to be a big one.
And for a reformer, that is something to drool about.
Yeah. So it gives us a sense of purpose, and what are we doing it for? Really, is it for me anymore? It's not. It's for my kids. It's for my grandkids.
All right.
It's it might sound a little corny.
I'm sticking with the ADHD thing. That's all.
You probably have something there.
Mine sounds more plausible. Anyway, all right. Well, that's good. And so tell me. Well, again, I feel like I'm answering them for you, or I could answer them for you. What special skills do you have that makes you the best Secretary of State candidate?
Well, you got to go back. I've been a business owner my entire life.
What is the business?
I'm a certified financial planner by trade.
Oh my goodness!
So, but I've done that, and I've built several buildings and landlords and that kind of thing. I've done different things on the outside, but I've taken those skills, developed skills as a township supervisor, developed other skills as a legislator, and those that's a different skill set from an executive position to a legislative position. Now as the county clerk, running elections, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, running the elections, but running a big operation in the third largest county in the state, 850,000 people. So those are skill sets that I've developed over time. Those are the skill sets that I think are going to be important for the Secretary of State's office. Those are skill sets that they're hard to come by. And so when this came about that there was a need to do something at the state level, I thought, I've got these skills that have been successful in the past. That's all that I can go by. For me, I just think it's natural. Things happen. We just do it. We run things the way we run things, and it's been successful. So why not take those skills and bring it to the state level and take the leadership, established the leadership that I've had and the established results. That's on my campaign piece, because I think it's important to bring those skills. And I got to tell you something. I say my campaign piece. Every position I've ever had, I've put those campaign pieces up on the wall.
Okay.
What were the promises I made to the people? If people are supporting me, I want to make sure I've delivered on what I said I would do. And I can go back and look at them, and I can check the boxes off.
Nice.
And when I was a legislator, they say, "Well, you're going to vote on this." I look up on the wall.
That's right.
That's not on my list.
Your little strategic plan.
That's not on my list. It's not important to me, and it's not important to my district. And so that's what I believe in. I believe we serve the public for a reason, and that's to fix things. Awesome.
Okay, so we have in Livingston County, when I teach classes on how to run for office, this isn't something obviously you need, but it is, when I teach them, I always tell them the most qualified candidate isn't always the one that gets elected, but 100% of the time, the most electable candidate gets the most elected. And I always call the electability factor the Drick election pie. And we take a pie and we put up all little pie slices. And in there are things like pie slices such as endorsements, message, recognizable name, sign locations, endorsement, that sort of thing. And whoever has the most slices is the most electable.
I like slices of pie.
Yes, yeah. I know. It's not like I said a box of popcorn.
The shirt I have, I look like the Good Humor Man.
Okay, Secretary of State and ice cream lover. All right. When you come in, though, Secretary of State office, are you going to have the little bell, that rings for the
Good Humor bell right outside. Time for ice cream.
You can come with little. I know we got to have paper hats. All the people can have paper hats. All right, little bit of a bunny hole there. So anyway, back to the pie slices. So tell me about if you're looking at this race, what pie slices do you have? I mean, he or she who have the most pie slices is going to win. So what pie slices should our delegates know you have kind of the best of?
Well, I've got a concern for local government because I've been there.
Okay.
I've got a concern, or I have an understanding of the legislative process. And I think that's important.
Huge.
I cannot state it enough, because I've had conversations even with the Secretary of State's office when they were trying to pass things, and they don't
know how to work with the legislature.
If you get things done through the legislature, you have a team that's working together. And you know what? Sometimes they got great ideas. You never know.
That's right.
You pass these ideas by, and you might be able to reform it a little bit and make it work.
Sure.
You don't need to go through trying to push an agenda outside the legislature. I believe you bring it to the legislature, you work with the legislature, you get your things passed, and sometimes you're not going to get everything you want. That's just the way it is. But having that experience and knowing the players in the legislative process, I think, is critical.
It is critical. I think there are both Attorney General candidates and Secretary of State candidates that have become elected and gone in and expected the legislatures to do what they wanted them to do. It's like they're their little vice chairs or something. And
no, it doesn't work.
No, it does not at all. And I've been a staffer there through 3 different governors, so I understand the difference in how to work that. So it's not easy. You have to have skills. You have to know the process. You have to know you can't expect it to turn on a dime. It's turning a cruise ship when you're reporting, as you know, a big, and I remember, you remember Mark Jansen, he had in the Senate, he had that Randy Richardville set up the Reforms, Restructuring, and Reinvention Committee for him. It was all about reforms, and I learned reforms the hard way. And boy, they're like cruise ships turning, and they're a lot of work and they're a lot of thought. But if you understand the process, it's much better. I think someone coming in that doesn't or thinks they understand, they're going to be very surprised.
And the final piece of it now, and this is probably the most critical now, being the county clerk, I run elections.
Sure.
I run an organization. It's not just legislative now, where I'm dealing with myself. But now I got an organization in the 3rd largest county in the state of Michigan, and I've got to work with people and have people perform so that they provide a service to the public.
Okay. Well, let's take a couple of statements here. Russ Jennings. Hi, Russ. Good evening from Jackson County. Russ likes to come in here. And as a side note, yours truly will be a guest on Russ's podcast next Monday, I believe, on the 8th. So I'm looking forward to that. So our commission chairman here asks, what are your top 3 disasters of Benson you will undo starting on day 1?
Well, here's the biggest problem that's going on. We do reforms at the county level. We haven't talked about that yet, but we will. And it stops at our level. It doesn't help the state or anybody if it doesn't go up to the state level. Transparency. That is the biggest disaster of all. Transparency, customer service. We're going to bring customer service back. We're going to answer the phone. We're going to answer the phone. Just like I said, we have to answer the phone. We have to provide customer service. We need to get rid of having the online coming into the office, the online appointments.
Okay.
We have to not get rid of it. we have to be able to perform and track people and how quickly we can move people through. We need to see what offices need more support, and maybe we got to move things around a little bit. But let me just go back to the first one, transparency. Transparency is the key, because if you don't trust your elections because things are being hidden, the DOJ was looking for information, yet the Secretary of State's office doesn't want to share it. Are you kidding me? What can we possibly be holding back that the federal government doesn't already know? It's nuts. It's nuts. And is there something, and I don't know the answer to this, is there something that's being hidden that we all need to know? And I think it's important. Transparency would answer the question. It'll get rid of the worries that people have that she is hiding something, or it's going to expose something that I'm afraid would really be disastrous for us. So I would really hope that we can become more transparent. The election process needs to be far more transparent than it is.
Okay.
And I really believe in that. And we're trying to do that in Macomb County with all the different reforms we've done. And I don't know if you want to get into that now. I can talk about that. You know, the 2020 election, there was a lot of people that were very concerned about the results. Now, keep in mind, I won the 2020 election. But there's still, you know, that's great. But if there's questions I couldn't answer, I wanted to find the answers to them. And the first thing was the modems on the tabulators. People were concerned about it. Is there a reason to be concerned? I didn't know. We looked into it. And I'm going to tell you, Verizon had the tabulators. They were not going to give us the results of the tabulations that, the transmissions that went, because it was about a year later. I said, wait a minute, I can get them from my own cell phone. How can we not get it as the county? We have 384 tabulators, all have modems. Why can't we get those results? Just short of a subpoena, getting that information, they finally gave it to us. Wow. And here's what we found out. We were told, I was told, that the tabulators, the modems on the tabulators turn on when they shut down at the end of the night. Wasn't true. They turn on in the morning when you turn the tabulators on. Now, that's not true with everyone's tabulators.
Okay.
Here in Livingston, you guys have HART, and theirs actually work appropriately. They turn on after the tapes run, then they transmit. They turn on and transmit. That's the way they should work. That's the way you can be assured that nothing got into that tabulator.
Okay.
But that wasn't true with Dominion or ES&S. So we shut them off. We were the first in the state to shut off the modems, and the state ended up following suit and had the rest of the state shut them down.
Okay.
So that was the first thing. And that, you know, the other thing now is, Deb, those tabulators have a scanning mechanism. And when you scan them, it could record the ballot, the exact scan of that ballot, both sides, and it can then tell you how that tabulator scored that ballot. And it shows you side by side. There's the actual ballot. You can see your oval being circled, and it shows you how it was scored. So we did that. We turned that on, and now anyone could FOIA the results across the county and look at each one. You know what the tabulator tape says, and you know with how it scored each of those ballots. And people were afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that. I think it's important that we know this. And if the numbers are off slightly, because I can guarantee you in almost any race, the tabulator might have seen something. Was it circled? Wasn't it circled? There might have been a pen rest somewhere. Something. I don't care. Transparency is the key.
Sure.
So we brought that transparency forward. The other thing we did was we did a forensic audit of the county servers. And we did that. And some people thought, it could have been better, could have been worse. We did something, right?
Right.
And from that, we come up with all these other reforms that we've done. We do hash validations on our tabulators in Macomb. And we know when we put the stick in how it was programmed, and we know when it finished. And we know if anything happened in between. That's important to know. That's transparency. You know, the other thing we saw was the people that were working elections, really, there wasn't enough of them. There wasn't a Democrat and Republican at every polling location, which was required by law. Part of the problem is on the south side of Macomb it's mostly Democrats. On the north side, it's mostly Republicans. And those local clerks would recruit people that they know to work elections.
Oh,
That's just
boy.
what you do. I mean, that's just what happens. It's natural. Well, being the county clerk, I have this diversification of people. So I was able to recruit. I'd go to different meetings across the county, from Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs, Lions clubs, and recruit people that were civic oriented, that wanted to work. I went to high schools. I went to the college. I'm trying to find people that wanted to work. In all, I helped recruit 700 people. We trained 700 people, Democrats and Republicans. And I got to tell you, one of my communities on election, or the day before the election, needed 35 workers. Before we did this program, what would this clerk have done? It would have been very tough.
Oh, dear.
It would have been tough. So we were able to bring that diversification, bring education up. And some of these people didn't work, but guess what? They might have been poll watchers, but they're educated poll workers. And that's one of the
That's
other.
huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Well, good
Yeah.
for you. That's terrific. What do we got here? Mark, didn't know you were in the state legislature. That's good. That's a good qualification. Yes, it is. As we said earlier, if you can't work with the legislature, you're not going to get any of your forms. Randy Guppy. Hi, Randy. You need to come over there to D2, and you have an event on the 20th. Add that to your calendar, please. And I will, yes, Andy, I will give, or Andrew, or Randy, I will give him your number. So
Good.
okay.
Good.
All right. So terrific. What else have I got here? What is the first thing you're going to do when you get elected?
Well, we just talked about that.
Okay, I didn't know if that was first or 10th or what.
Well, no, I think the transparency, getting the team in place, getting a lay of the land, understanding the processes that's going on, what are they using, who are the players. That's something that anybody that comes in, I didn't come into the clerk's office and decide I'm going to do wholesale changes.
Okay.
I had to get a lay of the land. It didn't take long. We see who the players are, who can you trust, who don't you trust, who do you put into key spots, how do you move people around that make sense. Not crazy changes. We want people to feel good about coming to work. You don't want them feeling threatened.
Sure.
But the cream will rise to the top.
That's true.
It always does.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So you had transparency. You had good place to work. You had any other major goals that you have for? And you can have as many as you want. We're not limiting you.
Well,
I'm feeling generous today.
It's really bringing integrity to the office. We need to bring integrity. We need to bring confidence back to the office, because if you don't have confidence in your elections, if you don't have confidence in the system, if you're upset because you got long wait lines at the Secretary of State's office, these are all bad things, and they don't have to be.
Right.
It could be a positive experience. We have in the clerk's office, I introduced this little card that you can say how your experience was in the clerk's office. And when I brought it, Deb, I'm telling you, they thought they saw a ghost when I brought these cards in. This is what we're going to do. And they said, no, people don't. Are you kidding me? This is not the right thing to do. People are going to give us rotten comments. I'm going to tell you, we've gotten thousands. And I mean, literally thousands. I've done some videos where we have the pile of these things.
All right.
I think we've had about 4 or 5 that were not positive.
Really?
People will give you compliments if they feel good about themselves. Think about it. When they come to a government office, I mean, I don't know how you feel. I know how I feel. Sometimes I feel a little intimidated. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? Am I going to say something dumb, or are they not going to take care of me? Those are all things that go through people's minds when they walk in the office. When they walk into our office, I'm going to tell you it's a positive experience. They feel very welcomed. They feel great. And they said, man, is there somewhere I want to give you a compliment? Yeah, here's a card. You can do that. Or if you don't like it, it's right there too. So it's right for everyone to see. But it's been, I'll tell you a negative we got, if you want to call it a negative. Somebody came and wanted to get a marriage certificate. We couldn't do it. They weren't from our county. I won't say what county.
Oh, okay.
It was a neighboring county.
Okay.
They wanted to get a marriage certificate, and they wanted to do it through us. We can't. They don't live in our county. They had to go to their county and do it. They were so upset they left a note. They weren't happy with us because we wouldn't take care of them.
Oh my goodness.
But that was
okay.
Why?
Yeah,
because the lines were so long in this other county that they didn't want to have to deal with it. They knew they can come in and be in and out in 10 minutes, and that's what they wanted. And sorry, we couldn't do it.
No. Well, that's not such a bad thing.
Make Macomb your home.
Yes. So, well, I don't have to talk to you about legislative experience. We've covered that. So, if just pretend for just a moment that all the candidates, all the Secretary of State candidates, have equal support. What about you will push that over to that extra percent to get you over the edge?
Well, I think the key in my case is the experience. And some people like to look at, some people like myself as establishment, and I'm going to tell you, in every position, I did things that were not good for Tony.
Okay.
They were good for the community.
Right.
And if I wanted to sit in a position, I could have probably have sat in, maybe not as a legislator, but I could have gone back to that.
Sure.
I didn't do that. I did things, got the job done, and then moved on.
Okay.
So I think what the public needs to know is that I'm going to get in and get the job done, and I've got the experience and the background to prove it first off, but to get it done. I'm at the point in time in my life that this is a time to really give back, and that's, I think, what makes the difference over I volunteer to do things in our office that don't need to be. I'll give you another example, Deb.
Okay.
Right now, with the elections again, just a few months ago, there was all this talk about the people on the voting rolls that were dead people that haven't been removed, and the controversy.
That's huge.
And it's really at the state level and the local clerks. But I says, you know what? I asked my election guy, I says, how many people are over the age 100 that are in Macomb County? We have close to 750,000 people that are registered voters. What is it? 600 people. That's what he came up with. I says, okay, we're living longer, right? Deb, we're living longer. Maybe there is 600 people. I said, let's look, humor me.
Yeah.
Let's look at each of these. And I'm going to tell you, God bless them. They did the work. They went through and looked at all 600. That's tedious work.
Yep.
Guess what?
How many?
300 are no longer with us.
Oh my goodness.
300. That was just
How many elections were decided by less than 300?
Well, I don't know countywide, probably none countywide like that, but there's pockets. Sure. It doesn't matter. Every vote matters. Every vote counts.
It does.
And we need to know that these people that are no longer there should be taken off. And let's just say, the Secretary of State's making it very difficult to take people off the voting rolls. And I know of many situations where they've been taken off and put back on. I don't know how, I don't know why. We got to look into that, and that's going to be something as Secretary of State. What's the downside of taking them off on election day? If this 125-year-old is really there, what does it take to put that person back on? They can do it on election day, right?
Right.
That's what the law. Why is it so difficult to take them off, yet so easy to put them back on?
Agreed.
Too easy.
Agreed.
Too easy.
And I've said this several times on this podcast, our elections aren't something we should ever, ever, ever question in our country, ever. It should just be, however it worked out, people need to have the confidence that was what the people wanted, whether you agreed with it or not, that is what the voters wanted. And right now, I don't think anybody can do that. I really don't feel like anybody really has true confidence in our elections.
Transparency.
Right.
Transparency will give the confidence because you can see it from the beginning to end. And yes, are there some pimples along the way that don't look good? Is there some, areas that don't look great? There probably is.
Sure.
There probably is, but they should be out there. You should be able to look at it. You should be able to make it better. And I think with transparency and you're seeing some of the small, I'm going to say small issues, some of them might be very big. You start to put together solutions to those problems.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say elections are perfect, but I think transparency will help make them better.
Agreed. Bill Reiber. Hi, Bill. Bill's my vice chair here in Livingston County. He thinks paying a fee to get married is wrong altogether. Getting fined to begin building your family is not right. That's such a man way to think about it, Bill.
Well, I tell people, what is it, $30 to get married, right. I think, but it's probably $4,000 to get divorced. So
minimum.
Maybe we need to think a little harder when we get married.
Yeah. Why leave dead people on the voter rolls for 2 presidential elections? That's a good question.
Yeah, well, it's a true statement.
Yes.
And I believe Jocelyn Benson right now is she might have done it in the promulgated rules, to go 20 years.
Mhm.
Federal law, I believe, is 5. If you haven't voted, you're taken off the voting rolls. And I don't understand this. I don't understand how federal law doesn't persist on this. That's something we got to take a look at. Too long, people are staying on the voting rolls that don't vote. Opens it up for abuse, potential abuse.
Agreed.
There's lawsuits in Detroit, the pastor in Detroit, that are in the court system right now. People that were homeless people that were registered to vote and never voted, so they claim, but yet they got a voting record. How does that happen?
Well, we know how that happens. Okay, Russ Jennings here's from Jackson, waiting on Tony's team to confirm a date to get on my podcast. The other two could. All right, you, Russ and Randy come in here and poaching my guests here.
Russ, send me something. I'll get on it right away.
I'll give him your number too. I'll just give him my phone, and he can call anybody on there and give you. Okay, you're supposed to come and watch us. You're not supposed to come here and poach my guests.
I love it. I love it.
I give them hard times all the time. All right. So what else do I have here? Okay, those are my questions, but that's okay. So you can talk about anything else. So do you have anything like after that? Or do you kind of just get the idea and then move? I mean, you're going to do 8 years? I'm supposing at Secretary of State, and then what? Back to financial planning, back to county clerk, back to the legislature. Governor.
In any of these things, I never look forward, because I think you make mistakes, and I think you make mistakes in what you're currently doing if you start looking forward.
Okay.
I don't think it's good to look forward. I think it's good to maintain what you're doing, focus on what you're doing today. It's like, you're dating a girl, but you're looking at the next one down the road. That's not the right thing to do right now.
Well, no, but dating girls you're not term limited on that girl. So, I mean, I think it's a little bit of an apple and an orange there.
I'll be fine. It doesn't, that's not what's important. What's important is getting the job done that you're in. Really.
Okay. Russ says he doesn't want to leapfrog and claim directly. Goof. Mark Ashley Price personally agrees with the vice chair, Mr. Reiber, about getting fined for getting married. Yes. That might be ridiculous.
Well, there's a cost. There's a cost
to it.
There's a cost in the clerk's office, and it's probably wise that somebody has to think. I'm not sure that $30 is going to make you think twice about whether you should get married or not.
No.
But there's a service that's provided, and that's the cost of that service. And you might say, well, why even get married? Well, I think many people are making that choice, right?
Yes, I think a lot of them are, and that's up to them.
I got a son that's thinking he's 38 years old. I got to get him married. Can we put his picture up here? I want to get the point. He's 38 years old.
All right, what is he like? What is he like? Long walks on the beach, curled up with a good book.
He's 6'5". He's
really
slender. He's an electrical engineer.
How old is he?
He's 38.
Okay.
He's 38.
All right.
Come on, we got to get him married.
We got lots of. You know what? We're having a Christmas party on the 11th. We have lots of single women out here. All the single ladies. Okay. So yes, we'll have to find a Ferlini engagement party or something. Except now you made me forget what I was going to say.
Well, here's something. We talk about, every day I worry about what we do in our office. Are we doing it right?
Sure.
And in the election, we had found 4 people that had voted between the local clerk and ourselves that voted twice. That's a big deal. And so I made it a big deal. Now, they're not the only ones in the state that have done it.
Okay.
And there's others that have done it. But we made it a big deal because I thought it was important to get ahead of this. We got it. We sent it to the prosecutor and moved on. And I could be wrong, but I might be the only clerk in the state that's actually, I shouldn't say that we were successful in prosecuting. I'm not saying that's successful, but we sent it, and one of those individuals ended up actually pleading guilty and was prosecuted. And, not that I'm proud of that, but it's what I think the public expects of us.
Sure.
Just hold ourselves accountable, hold the election workers accountable, and hold the others, the people that are voting accountable. So that's important. The other thing is we hold our clerks accountable, and I hope that they hold me accountable too. And we make mistakes. that's okay as long as we move forward, learn from them, and do a better job.
Okay, our commission chair's back. What is your opinion of ranked choice voting? That's a good question.
Oh, that's a great question. Listen, pay attention, folks. This is a big one. We have to get behind this where we are going to strike this down. Ranked choice voting is, for many reasons, a really bad idea. If you don't like the computers and the machines right now, think about what it's like on a recount where ranked choice, you're ranking your choice, and if somebody doesn't get a majority, then guess what? They go through a second route and a third route. And eventually your vote, if you only voted for one person, your vote's thrown out. You don't have any say anymore, and somebody else is deciding.
Yeah, because your first choice, second choice, third choice, yes. My God.
And then think about how many people have to be, how many votes you're going to be making on every single ballot. First choice, second choice, third choice, on just one race.
The opportunities for corruption there
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It'll take forever to do the recounts if there are any. Where's the trust in the computer systems? No. There's not trust in computer systems now. I think it's a bad idea. By the way, Macomb County is the only one that has done ranked choice in the state of Michigan. We had to do it with East Point. This is before I was clerk. It worked so well they stopped doing it. It was a court order. It's just on many.
It's like everybody agreeing on your last choice. that to me is like we had a booth, LCRP had a booth at one of our local kind of community fairs here, and we had somebody come up to us with a ranked choice voting thing, try to talk me into signing it. He says, it gives you the majority of the people agree, and I said, the majority of the people agree now. That's how you win, like having the majority of them. Everybody else is agreeing on, like, we're compromising on our last choice or our fourth choice or whatever. This is not.
Think about the lines at the polling locations, because people says, all right, here's my first choice, here's my second choice, and I'm still on the first choice, right? On the first race. And it's not.
I mean, this is what we do at conventions. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate you got to have 51%. Yeah, it does. And you have 51%, and everybody's got 34, 34, and 33 or what, or 32, and so you drop one. Then you got to go back and vote again, and it's like, stop it.
You look at the intent of the people that put this together, and you got to question even the integrity there, because there were so many things that they put in there. They put in, and it requires a paper ballot. We already have paper ballots. Why are you putting it in there? Because it'll get Republicans to get on board, because they want to. This is about paper ballots. I want that.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
There were so many things in that. Now it got stripped down, and one of the things in there, which actually I think is good, is to move the primary back. It gives clerks more time, and I think it gives the candidates more time and the public more time to see who their candidates are and vet them out more properly.
So when are they trying to move it back to?
I think on the ballot it says at least June, or
June?
Earlier. Yeah. Which June is a great
I don't know
month.
why you wouldn't do it. Don't we have the presidential primary in February now?
That's presidential primary, but when let's say for the governor's race, right? It's August.
Yeah.
Why
couldn't we do all of that in?
Why not bring it back? Because I think it's better if I honestly believe for the clerks, because by the time with early voting, with absentee votes, with day of voting, it's with the move ballots, it takes time to process all these appropriately. And if there's a recount in between, that pushes it up against the printing of the November ballots. It really puts a lot of pressure. Mistakes can happen. Give the clerks a little more time. And by the way, the Clerks Association voted unanimously not to endorse, actually to be against the ranked choice voting.
Right.
So I believe that there's a lot of reasons not to do it. The public needs to understand that. Republicans that are watching this right now, be vocal about it. This is not a good idea. The only good part about it, and the legislature can do it right now, move the primary back to June or May or whenever they're going to do it. And you know what that gives? It gives the candidates plenty of time, Democrats versus Republicans, or whatever the case is. The public's not going to be deceived by a really short primary process. So, I think that If there's ever a rallying moment for Republicans, it's this one issue, not just this.
I don't know. I've not met a Republican who's for it. So what?
Not too many Democrats are for it either.
No, good.
I think it's the communists that have brought this in.
Yes, well, sometimes they're one and the same. Early voting. Tell me what your thoughts are on all this early voting and the 9 days of voting and the ballots with no purpose or the absentee ballots without.
Right. No,
What of that might you change if you become Secretary of State?
Honestly, I'm not sure that you can change any because it's in the Constitution.
That's
now.
true. Well,
but I do like early voting. I think it's a great
Okay.
Republican proposal. Believe it or not, it turned out this way. I didn't know this when it came out, but you take the ballot now. What do Republicans like to do, Deb? They like to bring their ballot and they like to put it in the tabulator, right?
Yep.
Well, now you got 8 days to
Right.
do it. You got
Right.
9 days to do it, 10 days to do it, 10 days to put it into the tabulator yourself. So it spreads the time out. How many Republicans in 2020 showed up on election day only to see a long line?
Right.
You know what? Maybe I'll try later.
Right.
Or
maybe they forget.
They don't
right.
come at all.
Right.
Or they forget, or they're on vacation, or life situations happened, and the Republican votes weren't counted. Now you have all these days of where you can take the ballot and make sure it gets counted by putting it into the machine. It gets counted, and I think it's a real positive thing, and I think it's a way to get out the Republican vote, get out there early, put your ballot into the tabulator. Even President Trump was when he was candidate Trump this last time said, get your ballot in early. Get it counted because you don't want to risk that
Right.
on election day.
Right.
Maybe you're sick. Maybe there's a lot of things that
Sure.
can happen. Don't let that happen to you. Get your ballot in.
No, I didn't think I'd like it, but I do. The only thing I don't like about it is it plays havoc for those candidates that want to stand at the polls. Now you got to do all these days of standing at the polls. But it is what it is.
But I think it's actually good for the candidates because typically there's one location in a community that's early voting.
Right.
So they only have to stand in one location, and they got the entire community that comes to them.
Right.
So there's a positive there.
Yeah, there is a positive. So they don't have to bounce around.
They don't have to bounce around.
So talk to me about your endorsements. Like what big endorsements do you have?
Well, there's
Other than the other candidates.
There's many state reps that have endorsed me.
Nice.
But the one that I'll say I'm most proud. It's Candace Miller. Candace Miller came out day one, and I worked a short time with Candace after she went to work for Public Works. In fact, I had a sign on my desk when I was there, the Dirt Doctor, because I took that job. I was one of the proudest ditch diggers. She was at Public Works. She's at Public Works. I was one of the proudest ditch diggers out there. And when I first showed up, I showed up in my suit and everything. And I said, you know what? This isn't that type of job. I'm going to get in there. We're going to clean up what's going on here. And I'm going to clean up by getting dirty.
Okay.
And so I was out there with the guys, and we totally transformed that operation. They went from doing, prior to Candace, we were doing about 1,000. They were doing about 1,000 feet a year of fixing drains, that kind of thing. And we have the history of it. The year I was there, we did 33,000 feet.
Oh, wow.
My wife can tell you, I came home with mud on my boots and my shoes and everything, and my pants. She said, where the heck have you been? I've been in the ditches. I've been working with the guys to show them what we needed to do to provide value for all the communities in Macomb County. And Candace knows that, and she knows what I did at the clerk's office, bringing that same work ethic, that same get it done attitude. And she was one of the first to endorse me. Day one, she endorsed me. And if you look at the quote on my brochure, she gave just a glowing review and a full-throated endorsement of my campaign.
Awesome.
I really appreciate
No, that's a good one to have. If you're going to run for Secretary of State, having her as a
I was on a
supporter.
I was on a Zoom up in the UP, and Ed McBroom jumped on, and I didn't know what was him. It was just a number, and all of a sudden he started talking about, this is Ed McBroom, and he was giving a full-throated endorsement because I worked with Ed in the legislature, and he knew how hard we worked during those years, and he says Tony's the man to get the job done. So
all right,
I appreciate that.
Well, good. Ed's funny. Ed is fun to be around. Okay, so is that, and all right, well, let's see, what do we got here? Bill's talking about moving up the primary, more time to focus funds to nominate candidates. That's true. Isn't that the truth? Because between August, trying to raise money between August and
what are we doing? We're beating up Republicans.
That's right.
Republicans beating up Republicans. And I'll tell you, I in this race, I never talk ill of my candidates.
Yeah, we don't do that here either.
I don't think it makes any sense.
Nope.
I think that everyone has a genuine purpose. Everyone has a genuine desire to do well by our state. We all do it a little differently, but it's important that we stay together because the enemy is the processes that aren't being done properly. The enemy is the government that has these other agendas that don't deal with what we need to get done.
Right.
And we need to focus on, you hear the president say America first, we can say Michigan first. It really is that. It's doing the job first here in Michigan as Secretary of State, providing a service. People feel good about coming to the office. People feel good when they call and they get an answer. Things like the notary is another big issue. The notary is a hot mess, if you ask me right now. And we're going to do something about that because I think that there's too much criminal activity going behind the notary signature that's being forged. Yes. And we're seeing it in the Register of Deeds office where people are forging signatures on deeds. Not good. And it's because the notaries the system is archaic. It needs to be updated.
Wow. I guess that's another thing that you should never, that's another thing you should never question as a notary situation. Right. So, okay, well, that is what I had to, if anybody has any further information or looking for things, what would your website be?
Our website is anthonyforlini.com. Pretty simple, right? It's my name. Facebook is Anthony Forlini, for us, the word FOR, us. And come take a look at some of the stuff we're doing, the places we've been, the people we're talking to.
Oops. Yike.
Here we go.
Let's just take a ride here. Facebook
is
Anthony Forlini.
Forlini, for us.
Number
FOR.
4 or
no.
FOR, okay.
US. There you go.
Is it capitalized or no?
You
or
could.
just like us?
Why not? Capitalize it. Why
United
not?
States?
Looks
I don't
good.
know.
US.
I don't know if you're saying like us, like we.
It is us, yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. So that would be there's his and then the Facebook right there. So everybody can go on there and you can get more information or get contact or you see that Russ and Randy go on there and you can reach them there and you don't have to poach my guests on my podcast. So
well, isn't that the greatest compliment?
It is. Well, no, the greatest compliment was Russ called me and said, "Will you be on my podcast?" I said, "Yes, I will. Yes, I will." So I'm gonna come beat on him next week.
Oh, good.
So we
well,
have
be careful.
Russ
might beat on you.
Oh, he might, but you know what? I'm a tough old bird. I can take it. All right. Well, thanks for being on thanks for coming all the way out to Livingston County and talking with us. Is there anything else you want our delegates to know? We have some serious delegates out here.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you ever have an event that you would like me to attend, I'd love to be able to talk about.
Can you sing?
I got a brother that sounds like Pavarotti.
That's not what I asked you.
And he's got a full head of hair. I wasn't blessed with hair.
Look, you got a 20.
And I wasn't blessed with a great voice.
But you got a 20-year-old son. We have
38-year-old.
Oh, 38.
Right,
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, yeah. We have our Christmas party coming up on the 11th over at the American Legion. We're going to partner with the vets and have our Christmas party, and they got karaoke coming for us. So we're going to have. Okay, no, not you. Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, so you're coming through on the way. You stop in and say hello, and
so if
we can Sunny and share up there if you want.
I don't know if you're coming to the Macomb County GOP Christmas party
on Friday.
Yes,
I think I am. Yes.
My brother is.
I'm waiting for my vice chair to get back with me here. Just saying.
Well, my brother's singing the national anthem, so you can hear Pavarotti himself.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I got to sing for the big guy here last year.
Oh, you know what? You're right. I heard you sing it.
Oh, you did. That's right. It's the cowboy thing. Yes.
I'm listening. Where did that come from? How wonderful. Good for you.
Yes, that's I'm right now. I said. I mean, I could retire. If I'd never sing it again, I'd be okay. That was like, how do you literally trump that one? So. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to be right back. Thank you again for coming out here, Anthony.
Thank you, Deb.
We wish you the best of luck and
appreciate the questions too.
No, we're and don't our people like to follow up with you. So I know Randy and Russ are going to be reaching out to you real soon, and then we will we'll be back. I've got Ron Gillard here who's going to talk about the need for unity in our party, and boy, do I agree with that. So we will be back in a minute. Let me get a commercial going here. We'll see you shortly.
Someone once said, "Where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart." What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentionally.
Welcome to The Right Side. And with me now is the brand new 7th District Chair, District 3, Livingston County Commissioner, Frank Sample. So welcome, Frank. You're very active in the American Legion.
Correct.
You're very active in the VFWs.
This ideology is very damaging to the students who are told if you get this surgery and make do the social transition, the medical transition, then you'll be happy and all your problems will be solved.
Yes,
learned so much.
I'll bet. That's some institutional knowledge right there.
And we have, as a special guest, as I said earlier, we have Kevin Rinke with us. Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Go Boge. Thanks, Kelly. There are no shortage of them. We love meeting new people.
Right, yes.
It's in good shape, so that's good news.
That safeness is not afforded to every citizen. They are special.
There's a difference between men and women. There's a biological difference, and it's time for us to stand up for our girls.
He went through, and he came back with a report said there's no way Detroit can meet its obligations on the tax base.
Yes.
So is this DEI focused just on the high school, or are they talking about all
district, the entire district?
Maybe that's kind of normal. It's really not. There tends to be little fiefdoms with, different police agencies and police versus fire and fire versus EMS and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case here. So Livingston County is very fortunate.
Hey, not too long ago, in many of our lifetimes, Detroit was the 3rd largest city in America.
Oh, yeah.
3.2 million citizens.
It's been a great experience. I mean, I have no regrets about moving here.
There's an old saying that the road will get you elected, the jail will get you unelected.
Hi, and we're back. And this time we have our local executive committee member, Ron Gillard. Ron, welcome to the podcast. I don't think you've been on here yet, have you?
I haven't.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Ron is he's a good talker. He's a very deep thinker. And while he'll come to meeting after meeting and say 2 words the whole time, it's usually I move to do this or second, But when you just talk on him on one-on-one, he'll call me first thing in the morning and I had an idea, and he'll start talking, and it's always a good idea, and it's always got a depth. So I invited him. He was talking to me about the need for unity in our party and not fighting. And I said, you know what, this is a great topic to come on and discuss. So why don't you kind of share your thoughts on unity in the party and how important it is?
Well, I just think it's so important to have the same goals and just kind of talk to each other instead of like downing each other for their ideas, because we're all together as one. And when we attack each other, on social media and different things like that, it actually gives the Democrats talking points. And I'd really rather not refer them to as Democrats anymore. I'd like to just call them socialists, because that's really what they are. I mean, it proved it in the House when they did the vote. 53% of them wouldn't condemn socialism. So we have a lot in common. We like the Second Amendment. We want, safety, law and order for our families. We want to be protected. We want closed borders. We have a lot of things that we want and need that are the same. And, when we start going at each other, I see a lot of this on social media, and I get it. Everybody's got their own opinions on things. But what happens is when a lot of people read that stuff, it kind of takes us out of the game a little bit, because we have to win these midterms. I mean, I would tell you this: socialism will happen when the Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It proved it just recently with that vote in Congress.
Agreed. Nope, I get, and I have said this in the opposite sense. I have said several times that every time the Democrats say something lunatic like on Facebook. I always say every time a swing voter or an independent voter gets smacked to the right, and I feel like the same thing works towards us. If we're beating on each other, or if we're not, we're not in. We don't have to. I mean, that's the nice thing about Republicans. We're independent thinkers. We don't have to agree on everything.
We don't.
It's okay to, you think this, I think this. I mean, as long as our core values are the same, then, the fringe episodes are just fine.
And yeah, I would even say, it's good to have disagreement.
Sure.
But let's keep it private.
Right. And keep it
if I
civil
don't agree
anyway.
with Deb, I'll just call her on the phone. Hey, I didn't really agree with this and that.
Yeah,
Well, I won't call her out on social media.
No.
Because
No.
that makes us look bad.
Well, and I think there goes the opposite happens. You take
Yeah.
you and I start fighting on a social media, and the swing voters or the independents look at that and go, ugh, and they go over left. So
Right.
it's much better to just have the discussion. And if we still don't agree, then we still don't agree. But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean I think you're a bad person or you think I am.
No.
For that matter. So that's, I think, important. And I think it hurts all of our candidates when two of them, and I see so many so many fights now, and
That's kind of what sparked this. Is I was reading a lot of stuff on social media. I do a lot of it, but most of my stuff is always talking about the Socialist Democrats.
Sure.
I mean, the one thing I would say is that when I read things and people don't agree with a lot of things that maybe Trump is doing, I get it. But
Sure.
the thing is, why write it? So Democrats can have talking points.
That's right.
Just keep it to yourself, or talk, that kind of stuff, in my view, doesn't help our party, because
No.
we have to win this midterms. And anything that, I go a little bit overboard because I'm always talking about the socialists. I don't even
Right.
call them Democrats anymore, because they're not Democrats. They're socialists. That's my view on it.
Call it what it is.
Yeah.
So, interestingly enough, I'm an audiobook kind of person. I was always a reader, but it's just been so nice to be able to vacuum and listen to an audiobook, or drive and listen to an audiobook, or pull weeds and listen to an audiobook, that I've really become kind of addicted to them. And I recently picked up Senator John Kennedy's book,
I love that guy.
oh my gosh, you have to get his book. And I highly recommend, even if you're a reader, I highly recommend the audiobook, because he narrates it himself. And it's called How to Test Negative for Stupidity. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
But he talks about, the differences and arguing, and why it's okay to disagree and how to agree. But I just heard that on the way here. But he was talking about, he was talking about, as a new senator, there was a longer term senator there, and he wouldn't name him because he said this senator hated him, and he said he became friends with his kids or something. So he refers to him as Senator Meathead.
Oh.
And the stories
I actually seen that.
And
That
the
is
story,
cool.
the
Yeah.
stories about this is, Senator Meathead then said this, or then
Right.
did this, and I
Yeah.
laugh. But it's right, because he's not doing, he's not calling him out, and it is Mark Ashley Price. John Kennedy is a great senator. He is, and I'll tell you what, I'm begging. Go, somebody make this viral. I want Senator Kennedy to come here and speak at one of our events.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
He's
he
just
would
got
be
a
awesome.
great personality and a good
Yeah.
way with words, and
He's
he's
super,
entertaining.
super smart too.
Yeah,
he
he
went
is.
he went to Oxford.
Yeah, he did.
He was
Yeah.
so that, like, in his he's got his bachelor. I don't remember what his undergrad was. Then he went into law school, and then he became a lawyer, and then he went to Oxford. I had no idea.
But he's a humble guy.
He is.
You would never know that.
Nope,
I
nope.
read up on that stuff too. And when you watch him on TV, you would never pick that up.
Well, go get that Audible app and buy his book. It is, listening to him narrate it. It just, he cracks me up.
Yeah.
He is so funny. So anyway, but he talked about the same thing, about the need for unity, and how tearing each other apart just doesn't.
It doesn't help. And
No.
like when Trump was going after Marjorie Greene, it was a bad look. And I
think he realized it, because he
I
kind
think
of
he
stopped
did.
it
And
right
there's
away.
a lot
Yeah.
of really powerful posters that I
Mhm.
listen to on YouTube and different things like that.
Mhm.
And one thing they say is, going after your own is not a good
No,
idea.
it
I mean,
isn't.
any poster that is really good will notice that. And frankly, if Trump could do one thing better, it would be to not go after his own people.
Right.
Even though I don't agree with a lot of the Republicans either, but I'm not going to go on social media and all that stuff and say it.
No.
I'm just going to keep it private, and because I need to win. I know
Right.
that we need the House, we need the Senate, and we need the presidency. It's 1/3 of all of them to get any legislation passed. If you want voter ID, if you want your Second Amendment, if you want boys out of girls sports, if you want law and order, if you want
Boys
all
out of
these,
girls' bathrooms.
yeah, boys out of
locker
girls,
rooms.
yeah, and all that. If you want all those things, you have to you have to quit going after our own people, regardless if you're considered, I guess we're all just Republicans, really.
Mhm.
I
mean, we've got more center Republicans, we've got farther right Republicans,
right,
but
MAGA, whatever
you know,
it is.
and-
But
yeah.
in the end, we have to win. We have to win, and the only way we can win is either like even somebody that you would consider not a really good Republican. He's better than any Democrat. Any Democrat.
Yep. And
Or
that's what-
socialist, I should
yeah,
say.
yeah. That's what, and I think we talked about this on the podcast last week too. It was, it's better to have somebody that's agreeing with you. I was talking to somebody that was telling me that they didn't vote for Bill Schuette for governor because they didn't like Bill Schuette, so they voted for Whitmer. And I almost lost my mind. I said, "You're a Republican, you voted for Whitmer." Well, yeah, because Bill Schuette is this or that. I don't remember what he said.
Right.
And I said, "Would you like me to tell you why that was horrible?" And he said, "What?" I said, "Because you got your good friend right now, Jason Wolford, up there putting bill after bill after bill on the table.
He's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job. And guess what? Bill Schuette would have been in that office signing those bills. As it is,
Yeah,
she's not.
that's
So,
right.
so we've had now 7 years, going on our 8th year, of Governor Whitmer not signing Republican bills that have come our way. Whereas, whether I don't care if I liked Bill Schuette, he was fine, but even if he were, slightly left of center, he still would have signed a bunch of those Republican bills.
He would have.
You
definitely.
don't understand that. It's
Yeah, because at
any
that time we had the
Republican
House
governor
and
is
we had the
better.
Senate,
Yes,
and we would have had a lot of legislation passed. But instead, she vetoed everything.
She vetoed everything. That's right. Or just never, and now we've got the Democrat Senate, so it's not even getting to her.
Right.
So it is, and so whether or not you like that Republican or that was your first choice, and I'll tell you, we had this discussion last week, Chris Long and I did, and those Republican candidates out there that are pounding the table saying, well, if I don't get elected or my person doesn't get elected, I'm not going to vote for the winner. Go away. Away. Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
That is awful. That is
Yeah.
not. That is awful. That's saying you'd rather have a Democrat than the person that beat you or the
Right.
person that beat your candidate.
Yeah.
And that's just wrong. That is
Well,
absolutely wrong.
Yeah, because here's what we have a lot to lose. And I'll tell you, if the midterms don't go our way, it's going to be
Oh,
an
it's gonna be
impeachment
terrible.
circus
Yes.
for Trump
Yep.
again. And then no legislation is going to get passed.
Nothing.
What we really need is we need voter ID. We need to keep these borders closed. And we need to get these illegals out of our country because they're doing havoc on our country. I
Yep.
mean, we in these real blue states, people can't walk the streets at night
Nope.
because they could be mugged or raped or
Agreed.
killed or anything.
Agreed.
So when you look at all that, think about that stuff before you're bashing somebody on social media. If I mean, you're not gonna if you keep it quiet and if you don't like something somebody says, just go out and yell out at the tree or something. But why bash another
Yeah.
person that's on your side?
I
just
had
doesn't
this
make any
argument with
sense.
somebody that just continued to say, well, it's the principle of it, or we've had this for 20 years. Oh, stop it. It doesn't matter. We did this. And right here, I just want to make sure everybody understands that either in the House or in the Senate, you have the floor leader who is the policy and the appropriation chair that decides funding. And the Senate majority leader is elected if the majority is Democrat or if the majority is Republican, whoever the majority is gets to pick the Senate majority leader, and that's in the Senate. And in the House, they get to pick the speaker. And it doesn't matter if you like your Republican senator or your Republican House member at all, because it's got this right here, that speaker or the Senate Majority Leader, they have all the power. Everything that happens either in U.S. or state Senate or House has to come through them. If they don't want it, they don't get it. So your rhino, we'll call them, just say if it's a rhino, your rhino will still put a Republican Senate Majority Leader or a Republican a Speaker of the House in there, and then it's all Republican stuff that gets passed. And
Right.
or if you don't support the Republican gubernatorial candidate, which is really where this started, all this nonsense. Well, if I'm not going to get elected, I can't support any of these other ones. Then shut up. I don't want to hear you. I won't have anything to do with you, and I will call you out in a heartbeat.
Right.
If you can't support the Republican, then don't tell me you're a Republican.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I don't care. They will sign Republican bills. Any one of those gubernatorial candidates, any one of them, whether it's your favorite or not, will sign Republican bills. And that's what you need to understand. That's
Right.
their job.
Yep.
If any Democrat, I don't care which one, will not sign our Republican bills. It'll be just like Whitmer.
No.
And so,
And
shut up, zip it, stop insulting your
Yeah.
fellow Republicans. Just shut up.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to insult them with your family and your friends,
Yes,
that's
I guess
fine
do it.
behind
Yeah,
closed doors.
that's right.
But I mean, when you go out there and do it, I mean, when you post stuff like that on social
Yep.
media, thousands
Yep.
of people see it.
Yep.
And you know what? There's a lot of people out there that I respect that say those things. And, if I wasn't educated on what I'm doing, I would probably change my thinking maybe. And not only that, it gives Democrats talking points, and they don't need any. I mean, everything that they stand for is just plain really bad.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, you can't. Even,
back
there's
in the
nothing
back
that-
in the Democrat days, where they were different Democrats. They weren't. I always explained when I used to teach this in Leadership Livingston, and I used to start off by saying the difference between Republicans and Democrats both want the same thing. They both want families taken care of. They want children to have good schools. They want blah. They just had a different path to get there. I can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
I can't say that at all anymore. Republicans want something different. I mean, then I guess there are still Democrats out there, but the ones that seem to be the loudest are the woke extreme.
Yeah,
I can't say that.
So the party's been taken
Yeah.
over by the far left, or you could just say the socialist.
Yeah.
So right now, it's not your grandfather's
No.
Democrat party;
No.
it's a socialist
No,
party.
I know.
And everything that they stand for is bad. I mean, they talk about affordability. Give me a break. Every blue state is about 53% higher on everything because their taxes are high,
Yep.
their regulations are high. The inflation that was caused all came from the Democrats. People think,
Look
well,
at the
these
cities. Look at the cities.
They're
You don't
just
even have to look
terrible.
at states. Look
Yeah.
at the blue cities.
And
They're all in trouble.
right. I mean, and you look at Gavin Newsom. I mean, he
Oh,
looks
God.
good, he talks good, but he's a terrible person. Everything he stands for is evil.
Yeah.
I mean, he's destroyed that California. It is terrible.
It's,
And
yeah,
in New
it-
York
it's
and
certainly-
Chicago, I mean, all these crimes. You know why these people are you know why the Democrat or the socialists are protecting these people? It's for votes. In 19 states, they give these illegals driver's license and social security cards. And guess what? They vote in these elections.
Yes.
And those blue states, we don't need them. We don't need them in all of in our whole country. We don't. So winning is the most important thing, and staying united is the principle behind that.
Yes.
Because if we're all talking the same talking points and working together on those things, we can win, and we have to win. There's
2026 is in
it's gonna-
Michigan. It's just as important as
It is,
the federal elections last year.
Yeah, because I mean, right now, look at the spending that's gone on under this
I know.
administration. This state has spent way more. Anytime you get a socialist in charge, they have no physical responsibility. And I'll tell you what, this country will collapse in 2030 if we don't get this
Oh, I
deficit
know.
under control.
I
I
know.
promise you that much. 38 trillion that's our second largest line item on our expense.
That's crazy.
So after Social Security.
That
And
is
so,
crazy.
with all those things on the line, we have to stay united and we have to win. And that's one thing I would hope that we could all agree on and move forward in that direction because it's so important. In this state, we need to take it back. We really do, because I mean, everything everything that they've done to the state since they've been in charge has been bad.
Oh, look at 23 and 24. It was just awful years. Just awful years. So many crazy things happen, and so many terrible policy changes.
Yeah.
We have to, and the only way to undo them is to gain complete majority on all three houses or all three chambers, and start passing laws that can undo them. And that's the other thing. I've recently seen people starting to bash all these legislators. They haven't done. Tell me anything they've done in the last 3 or 4 years. Well, duh. We've had Whitmer in there for 7 years. There's nothing you can do. Let us go back to our basic high school civics class, people. You need to have all three. The House needs to pass it, the Senate needs to pass it, the governor needs to sign it. Either one of those three says no, that it's going to die. So it's not the fault of your useless legislator, Republican legislator, if they didn't get something passed. It was the fact that somebody else was useless and didn't knock enough doors to get, another Republican elector or Republican governor. Right. So because some idiot decided, well, if it's not my candidate, I'm just not voting. Well, there you are. They're the ones at fault.
Right.
So when I hear about this nonsense about it's Rhino's fault, no, it's not. It's the people that don't vote. That's whose fault it is. Because Republicans, when Republicans don't vote, they vote for Democrats. That's exactly how it works.
And, I'll say this. Trump carried a lot of these moderate Democrats and some of these independents over to his side because of, what these Democrats are running on affordability. Because, it's stupid that they even bring up affordability, because affordability is, they've never done anything for affordability except for drive prices sky high by raising everybody's taxes. I mean, California's paying about $5 a gallon for gas right now because it's taxed so high.
I think ours is bad.
And these blue states, and you go to Chicago, I mean, it's like a hellhole. I mean, it's just terrible. They've got all these illegals running around doing whatever the hell they want. They don't want the law enforcement to do anything because that's votes for them. They know that they know this. Yeah. They know that if they keep these people, that they can get them to vote for them, and they will vote.
That's agreed.
And so, we have an uphill battle because we're always trying to do the right thing, and we are doing the right things. We're not cheating in elections. We're trying to do the right things. At least I hope we're not. Right. I know I'm not.
No.
But what I would say is that we have to win, and winning means uniting the party and not bashing each other.
Right. It doesn't mean always agreeing, and let's be real clear. It does not mean always agreeing.
Right.
It's okay to disagree. It really is. But it's not okay to not support the winner in a primary and to get out there and you just roll, let it roll. If it's not your favorite person, it's still remember that any of those Republican governors candidates, whether it's your favorite, your first favorite, your second, or your least favorite, they will resign the Republican laws that are put in front of them, and they will veto the Democrat laws that are put in front of them. And you need to remember that. That is the only thing you need to remember.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. And maybe they're not the most conservative, or maybe they're not the most hard nose on X or Y, but it doesn't matter. They will be signing the Republican bills, and that is what their job is. Right now, we've had 7 years of getting our bills vetoed or not even coming out of committee because the governor won't sign them. Yeah. So it's just been awful, and I don't want another 8 years like that. So I don't care who you are, get over yourself and support whoever the primary is. You take your few days for your pity party if you need it, and then get out there and knock some doors.
If anything, do it for your wife. Do it for your son.
Do it for your kids.
For your daughter.
I know.
I mean, you want your daughter, you want your son, and you want your wife and your husband. You want them safe. And Republicans stand for safety. We want safety. We want it. We want the drugs out of our country. I mean, they're killing. The drugs killed more people. I was reading some information just the other day that the drugs that have been coming across Venezuela and all these other countries are killing more people than Vietnam killed.
Wow.
In a war.
Wow.
And this is factual. So, I mean, there's so much that we stand for that is so good, and there's so many great people in our party that we have to just continue to just work together and try not to, bash each other, and stay united as much as we can. I mean, if there's one thing that we could work on, it would be that. I mean, if there's any fault that I find in the Republican Party is we have a hard time with unity. but we have great policies.
Oh,
we
we
have
do.
great people, but I think it's because we're all independent thinkers.
Agreed.
And I think that's because, we're just that way.
Well,
But
we do have some members out there that think it's great to have independent thinkers as long as they think their way.
yeah, and I mean,
That's not how it works.
It don't. And
No.
then, like if I don't agree with somebody that says something on this or that on Facebook and I go over there and start arguing with them, it doesn't
It's
make
a
us,
bad
it
look.
makes us
No.
both look bad.
It does.
And people do that to me. They come over and start arguing with me, and guess what? I'll say one thing and then I'll just say thank you, God bless you, and I'll leave.
That's right. That's the best way to do it
Because
because you're right. Because if the independents and the swing voters see that and they think, oh, I don't want to be in that mess, and then that shoots them left. I just
Right.
as soon let the Democrats shoot them over to the right. So
Yeah.
So anyway, well, thanks for that message.
Yeah.
Want to remind everybody that on December 11th, I put it out. There's no meeting. First of all, no meeting, no EC meeting on December 4th. That would be Thursday. That'd be our normal meeting. We're not doing a meeting in December, but we are having on this Thursday, December 11th, at the American Legion on the corner of Grand River and M59 and the west side of Howell. We are having a Christmas party, LCRP Christmas party, and it's basically there's no cost to it. It's just going to the American Legion. If you want to come 6 o'clock for dinner, American Legion has the best cheeseburgers and fries. They really do. But they have other food too. But they'll have food. And then 7 o'clock, we have Stephen Bearden, member from Howell, from Marion Township, is bringing karaoke in. And we're, of course, making it open to the public and to the American Legion members. And we'll have some karaoke, some fun. We're also asking everybody to bring a unisex gift, $15, $20, somewhere in that range, and just put it in a sealed bag or envelope or whatever you're going to do, and put it in a pile. And then whoever brings a gift gets a ticket. Then at some point we'll draw your ticket. You get to go pick a gift. It'll be a blind draw, but it'll be kind of fun. Just a little thing like that. That'll be kind of fun. But we're going to have some karaoke and some networking and some, singing, and I'm hoping to have. I've invited some candidates. The statewide
I won't
candidates.
be doing any singing.
You won't be. Oh, come on.
No, not unless you want me to clear the place out.
No. Okay, at the end of the night, then when they're trying to get everybody, that's
Yeah.
when we want you to sing.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to be. I'll sing Gladys Knight. You don't want to be like you and Bill Reiber be the pips back there.
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Bill, you gonna sing with me? So anyway, I mean, there'll be lots of people there singing, so it's okay. But it'll be fun. You need clappers in the audience too.
Yeah.
So you need people to go up and make requests. So
That's cool.
it'll be fun. Steven's a fun person, and we're very lucky to have him as part of our party. And he's a new member. He joined us right after the Charlie Kirk. He had a big awakening moment during our Charlie Kirk vigil, and he joined right afterwards.
Was that downtown in Howell?
Yes, that was fantastic. It's
Oh.
on. I think it's on the. The whole thing got taped. We put it on the party website. So if you want to look at it, it was a great thing. So, So anyway, that's going on. So that's it. The location to be determined. Second Saturday in January. We're also not having an EC meeting because the first Thursday in January is New Year's Day, and I don't want to look at anybody that's been partying the night before and trying to make Republican decisions. So right out. So we're not going to do an EC meeting on that night. However, we will be doing our annual strategic planning session on January 10th. Location to be determined. We'll send that out. But we're going to start that at 9, but we're going to have our EC meeting will be at 8:30 before that. So we'll get you there. We'll have a quick EC meeting to approve whatever we have to do for the year. And then we'll start our strategic planning. I think now that this will be our third, we've gone 2 full years with strategic planning sessions, and everybody, I think, has seen the value to this. We set all the goals for the year. We set the direction the party's going to go in. We talk about what we need to improve, what we need to, do better. I think you came to the last one, Ron, if I remember correctly, and contributed to that. So it is, it's vital for everybody to participate. You don't have to be on the EC to join. You can, if you're a delegate, if you're a member, you can come. We'll let you know where it's going to be, but it's where all the ideas get done. So throughout the year, people say, well, we feel like you should have done this, or we feel like you should do this. Okay, show up at the next strategic planning meeting, give us those suggestions, because we don't just turn on a dime. We set these goals January, and then we work the plan the rest of the year. And we've done this now. This will be our third one, and we've had 2 full years of this. And I think we've had. I mean, you've been around. We've had some tremendous successes.
Yeah, and the party's pretty unified now. And
yes.
There's not a bunch of drama or any of that. I mean, we're kind of having fun with it, and we're all working in the same direction.
Yep.
And that we're all about winning.
That's
what we want to do.
We are focused
win.
in that. We're not focused on drama issues or personality issues.
Yeah.
And, it's not to say that everybody loves one another.
No.
We do, we don't. But, it's like I said right from the beginning. If you don't like somebody, go over there. If they're there, you go there. This is
I
easy.
usually sit in the corner.
You do not. You sit right in the front.
I do.
I know, right there in my left. Look,
Well,
I look
I might be in the
left.
corner. Who knows?
That's
sometime.
right. No, but anyway, if there's people, I mean, we're all independent thinkers, and some of us get along super, super well, and some of us maybe not so good. But that's okay. We can all be professional and work together, right? And we don't have to go out drinking every single night of the week, but we can work together. So that's just fine. And I think we've done a real good job of that. And we've had, I think if I'm going to look back at our year, because this is we had our final meeting of the year, but I think if I were going to look back over the year, and I would say one of the best accomplishments that we've had, the biggest accomplishment, is that, and you were there, we've had disagreements where half the room thought we should do this, and half the room thought we should do it a different way, and we had the discussions, and then we voted and moved on.
Yeah, we moved on.
Yeah, we didn't have a big personal battle over it. We didn't get angry over it. We had a peaceful debate. Some people got a little more passionate about it than others, but it wasn't. It was passionate in belief. It wasn't drama, which is okay. And then we voted. We disagreed respectfully, and then we moved on. And it was, to me, that was the biggest accomplishment of the year.
Yeah.
And we all respected each other at the end. And I think that we've had some. I think the monthly dinners that we have and the monthly breakfasts that we have, I think there have been truly helpful, and I commend early on the year Pam Atkins for starting that trend, and then now Lisa R, who has continued it with the fourth Thursday socials.
Can you pronounce her last name?
Yeah, if I see it, I can. I can never remember it, so
nobody can.
No, I just start calling her Lisa R, and it's stuck.
Everybody does it.
Yeah, I can if I see it. I'm Polish, and I can pronounce Polish last names, so mine was real long and crazy too that nobody could pronounce. But so I can do it, but I have to see it in order to do it. But anyway, Lisa's done a great job, and then the Statons have taken over our Tuesday morning breakfast, our second Tuesday breakfast, which would be next Tuesday. So I don't know if she's having one in December or not. I think I gotta ask. I'm glad I brought that up, though. I do need to ask her if she's going to do a second Tuesday dinner or breakfast or not. Those are fun. But having those events, having the fun that, Michelle Blondil really worked her butt off on that fun Reagan Day party we had. Having those events.
Those cookies were awesome.
Oh, I know.
I ate so many of those cookies. I had a stomach ache the next day.
She had, and the cupcakes.
They were huge too. They were
I know. She had these cupcakes that were like filled with her homemade jelly, or jam. It was like fantastic. Yeah, it was good time. Anyway, but having those fun events like that has really done it's brought out the fun in the group. So I'm hoping that a lot of that we've already received over 20 RSVPs, and that for next Thursday, a week from Thursday, on the 11th, to our karaoke Christmas party. And that is huge, because I'll tell you something, a week before we were sold out. We had probably 150, 160 people at our Reagan Day dinner, and we had about 30 of them RSVP 2 weeks ahead of time. So everybody RSVPs at the last minute. So the fact I've already got 25 or so for our December 11th party, I think we're gonna have a good crowd, because everybody's gonna email me on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week to tell me they'll be there. So anyway, all right, well, I will so there's the two things. So that is January 10th, location to be determined. That'll be our 8:30 a.m. EC meeting, and then our 9 o'clock strategic plan. That'll go till about 3, and then Thursday the 11th, that is a week from this Thursday, at the American Legion. Please RSVP to me. Chair, here, let me just, I don't have Tyler here today, so I'm having to type everything myself. She's so good. Oh, great. I'm not being able to do this here. There we go. Here we go. Chair or LivingstonRepublicans.com. Give me an email if you want to come to this. You don't have to be a member. You can just be a Republican. Don't be a socialist. And don't be a socialist. Come and have some fun. Like I said, bring a unisex. You know, if you have to spend $15 or $16 on lottery tickets and put them in a wrapped up envelope, that'd be fine. But email me, let me know that you want to come, just so I know how many tables to kind of reserve, and I want to be able to let American Legion know too, so if they need to bring on extra help, they can. So that's going to be fun. That's starting at 6 o'clock on Thursday the 11th. We'll be going, I think karaoke's going till 11, so we'll be there for quite a while. So if you can't make it right at 6, come anyway. So anyway, thank you, Ron, for coming. We had a great night between Ron and Anthony Ferlini. We had a great night tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed. Looking forward to seeing all of you at the Christmas party. So enjoy. Welcome to December. And just to give you guys a status report, I'm about halfway through the snowmen right now. Halfway through putting up my 1100 snowmen. So maybe I'll have some pictures next week. All right. I'll see you next week, guys.
All right.
Take care.